All right. Welcome to the Trans Talk Hub podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa. To welcome me today is Braxton. Hello, Braxton. Welcome back.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be back.
Glad to have you back. So today we're going to react to some crazy TikToks and talk a little bit about why Pride this year just really isn't worth celebrating. There's just too much craziness going on, misinformation, really wild takes and things like that. And I just don't feel like it's worth celebrating. And, I've talked to some people close to me and they're like, well, what about for you? And I was like, well, I don't need this big thing for me. Right. I live my life
Right.
and that's that. I don't need a month. I don't need anything. Right. I'm
Right.
just living
Every
my
day
life.
is Pride Day.
Exactly. And so, yeah, that's kind of my take is I don't know. I don't want to celebrate it. I'm not putting posts out during Pride Month. I'm just not doing any of that. If anything, during that whole time, I'm going to spend more time pushing stuff that, I don't know, shares light on the crazy, I don't know, takes and
Absolutely.
positions.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, there's just not much to celebrate. Not with the state that our community is in right now. I mean, we're fighting within our community. We can't even get along within the community. So no, I don't feel like there's much to celebrate at this point.
For sure, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, some of these TikToks that we're going to watch today, a lot of people have reacted to them, but I feel like, the more people that see them, the better, obviously. I mean, I think after watching a lot of this and hearing our positions on it, I think maybe people will realize that, it's not really, there's not really a reason to celebrate. If we celebrate it, we're celebrating all of this.
Exactly. And I refuse.
I refuse as well. Yeah, no, it's crazy. But if you're ready, then I'll just go ahead and pull up this one. I guess let me know if you can hear it. I'm going to put that there. So this one is like, I don't know, it's like a whole violence thing talking about like if you misgender or something, that they're going to like do violence or something. It's just this whole fucking weird thing. It's
Okay.
like crazy.
Sounds on par.
It does very much. I mean, I know you know that you do lives and things like that, and you're nice in your position and things like that, right? But the moment they disagree, they want to get violent and threatening and just completely disrespectful. And I think this right here is an example of that. So I'm gonna hit play. Let me know if you have any issues hearing it.
Cool. You can either respect my trans homies, or I can identify as a fucking problem. And if I catch your bitch ass being disrespectful, your pronouns are going to be was, were. Thank you for coming, and have a nice day. Hi there. You can either respect...
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, how inviting.
That's the type of shit that we see.
How inviting is that? After watching that, I definitely want to be an ally. I definitely want to support trans people. Come on.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. A video like this exists, and we want to build a good, positive, like we want people to be allies, right? This is not going to get that done. It's just not.
No, this will do the exact opposite. I mean, I'm a trans person, and this makes me want to run for the hills. Like that's were. You really thought you ate with that, sweetheart. You really thought you ate. Like, that's disgusting. It's a threatening another person's life, especially when these are the people that are claiming we're in some sort of trans genocide, but you want to threaten other people's lives. How does that make sense? Make it make sense. Like, come on now. Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe that, like I said, these are the people that literally think they're doing good. What is this achieving? It's achieving the opposite of what the whole community has fought for. When all of like the whole initial movement of all this, like the OGs of the community fought for good reason, not for this shit.
Absolutely. And I think that here in recent years, Buck Angel and I have gotten really close, and we text and stuff, and we're homies. And he is one of the pioneers that made our life today as trans people possible. And I watched that man get ridiculed and shit on left and right by these exact same people. There is no respect for those that came before us. It is very apparent. And there's not even respect for those that are trying to be here for it now. It's insane. This is absolutely crazy. it's just so combative with the actual task at hand to make sure that there is a future for trans people where we can just assimilate and live normally and just be happy with ourselves. That's what people like you and I and Buck and Blair and those kinds of people are fighting for. And then we have these people out here completely combating that, doing the exact opposite thing and pushing people further away from us, making it so much harder for us to do what we're trying to do.
Right. And then we have to like step up and do all this work instead of just living our lives like we want.
Yep.
We have to now stand up, take our time.
Yep.
To make videos like this.
Yep.
To react to this shit. So we can push the community in the right direction. It's going to take a lot of people, like you said, like us, Blair, it's going to take all of us. And yeah, I think, it's just crazy. And I don't know. It really honestly upsets me, the fact that this even exists. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Buck is a pioneer. And I see how upset he is, looking at this and reacting to these people. And it's just sad, that we have people doing this.
Yeah, to have fought so long and then to have people talk to you the way that they do him, I couldn't even imagine. It's insane. And a lot of people will say that, you were saying, now we have to come on here and react to this stuff, and people would be like, well, no, you don't have to. No, we do. It's not a pick-me thing as much as y'all want to make it out to be something like that. It's an educational thing. It's because people like Alyssa and I are concerned for our community, genuinely. We actually care about trans people, and we see that this is going to make the future for us that much harder. And it doesn't have to be that way. When I started 10 years ago, wasn't that crazy. And now it's just getting crazier and crazier. So I'm trying to stop that from progressing. So we do have a responsibility to call this shit out, essentially. So we're going to do it.
Absolutely. And another thing, too, is I don't think people realize, for us, this is work. We're doing Absolutely. A podcast, right? I have to edit this podcast after. Yep. We have to figure out what's going to work on social media. Yep. How do we really get this out there to the masses and really get something going? That takes work.
Yep.
And I would love nothing more than not to have to do this. So to think that hopefully all of this stuff actually works and, we're actually positioning things correctly, we're going to get some payoff from it,
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
But the thing is that for us, we have to put twice the work because there's more people pushing back on this Absolutely. Type of thing that we're pushing for to where we have to work double time.
Exactly. It's easy for them. It's not very easy for us.
Yeah, and social media just latches onto that.
Absolutely.
Their whole view, just anything that they post, and it's just crazy. So that's that one. This one is not a video, but what it is this was basically a California state law that required parents to force. I want to be clear here. This is forcing. This was education, and one big thing about this was sex ed or whatever, and somewhere in here, let me see, information about sexual orientation and gender, including the harm of negative gender stereotypes. That was all taught in here, and it says parents cannot opt out their child from the gender and sexual identity lesson only. That means that they could opt out of anything else but this one little thing.
That one.
Yes, and if you look here, here's the actual, this is what they were talking about. Hold on, I think, sexual reproductive anatomy, physiology, gender, and sexual identity was taught on May the 16th. And parents did not have a choice. They could not sign their child out of this. They were being forced by California law, because it said right here, California state law requires that comprehensive sexual health education and HIV prevention education be provided to students at least once in middle school or junior high school and once in high school. And this is being forced. And I don't think people realize that. That's why I wanted to share this, because this is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's insane to me. Because for people like you and I, right, we didn't need anything like this. You can figure out all of this on your own. Especially now, we don't need kids to have to learn about all this. Let normal education be normal education, right? We don't need all this extra stuff. We really don't.
I'm all for sex ed. Absolutely. I think it's important that when children are getting to that age where puberty is starting, there's bursts of hormones, things like that. Sure, they should probably understand the ramifications of a sexual relationship with another person, of course. But the gender identity thing, that is crazy to me because like you said, I didn't need anybody to educate me on what it was. Now, I had never heard of what trans was. I didn't know that being trans was a thing probably until I was like 14, 15. Because I had a buddy who, had noticed that I was doing a lot of the same things that he used to do and things like that. And he's like, well, maybe you should look into this. Like, I found it and it changed my life. And it was just like a by happenstance things. Nowadays, the world is very different and trans is broadcasted a lot more than it used to be. You didn't see that. I think the only trans person I knew of at that point was Chaz Bono. I could name you 10 trans people off the top of my head right now. So it's just a very different world that we're living in. But I didn't need anybody to educate me on being trans to know that I was trans. And I think what's happening with this now is that children are very vulnerable and they're moldable. They're very naive. They're gullible. They believe what adults tell them because they don't know anything about the world and adults do. So of course they're going to listen to the adults. And now we're going to have an influx of trans kids, trans people, and then we're going to see an influx of detransitioners like we already are. It's already happening. It's just going to keep getting worse. But these kids are going to do whatever they can to fit in, especially with their friends. Like I needed the perfect pair of jeans. Miss Me jeans were this huge thing. I don't know if they were everywhere, but they were really big in Texas as far as I know. I had to have a pair of Miss Me jeans because all my friends had Miss Me jeans and I was being made fun of because I didn't have Miss Me jeans. So I needed to go get these jeans. It's a pair of pants, but I needed them. Like it was crucial to me because I needed to fit in. And they were girl jeans. I didn't even want to dress like a girl. I never dressed like a girl. But I was getting made fun of and I didn't want to be made fun of. I wanted to fit in. And that's what kids do. And so now we're going to just like put this shit in their face. And if their friends are doing it, well, yeah, I need to do it too. There's not as much of a thought process for a child, especially in middle school. And then to require this, that is insane. Like when I did sex ed, I had to take home a little permission slip. And if my parents wanted to opt me out of the whole thing, they could because I'm their child, not the school's child, not the state's child. I am my parents' child. It is their say-so at the end of the day to tell parents that you have absolutely no choice over your own child. That's disgusting, California. Be better. That's all I got to say. That's crazy.
Absolutely. No, this is insane. The moment I seen this, I was like, I have to talk about this on the podcast because this is important. And I'm glad that this parent, screenshotted this, whatever they did to put this out there because people know, what generally happens in California with all that, right? Like it's definitely more out there than it is in like anywhere else, right? But the thing is that this should not be pushed anywhere. I don't care what state it is. It should not be pushed. I don't feel, and this is the thing, and a lot of people say like, well, gender ideology, whatever you want to call it, the whole trans thing,
True.
You probably watched something as a kid that got your mind thinking, and you had this, that kind of molded your thinking, and that's why you're trans because there was something that was pitched at you or whatever. This is that. This is that. The thing that people are worrying about. This is that. You don't want that to happen to your children, then speak out about this.
Yep, absolutely. Crazy.
It is crazy. And yeah, the crazy thing is like, I don't know about for you, but like for me, we didn't have anything that was pushing this because like,
no.
So to say like, oh, well, something you watched or social media, we didn't have social media,
Yeah. It was a very different time.
Social media really wasn't a thing until like teen years, but like even then you didn't see trans stuff. Like the only like semi like definitely not trans, but the only like person that I ever seen that made me like realize, hey, there can be people that are a little different out there is Jeffree Star because he was very popular back then for his music and stuff. But regardless, Jeffree has even speaked out about this and said it's all fucking crazy.
Yeah.
All these labels and all this shit. And yeah, if you got somebody like that calling all this shit crazy,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Jeffree's done some crazy stuff in the past too.
Oh, no doubt.
People grow.
Yeah, he's definitely
change.
not somebody to put on a pedestal, but I mean.
Sure. But I mean, if they're calling this out, they think it's weird. Like Jeffree's done some pretty weird stuff. So for Jeffree Star to be like, what is going on? There's your sign. There's your sign. That's all I needed.
Like, for same. Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. So this next one, I don't know if you've seen this. I don't remember whose video I originally watched to see this, but basically this was on Mother's Day. Um, she's a trans woman, right? And she has a child.
Okay.
And so she was at church. So I'll just give you a background before we watch it. But
Sure.
basically, in short, she was given flowers, just like all the other mothers at church. And she came home and she talks about her reaction to telling her daughter about it. So I'll go ahead and play it.
Cool.
This Mother's Day is especially significant for me because it's the first Mother's Day that I am celebrating since coming out as trans and starting HRT. So it's kind of special. At church this Sunday morning, they gave all the moms carnations and letters saying Happy Mother's Day, and I was happy to be a recipient of one of those. I took it home and showed my daughter, and who is 8, and she said, "But you're not a mom." I said, "Well, yes, I am." She said, "No, you're not." And the reason she said that is because my wife doesn't allow her to call me mom. I'm known as parent. So not dad, not mom, just parent, which seems kind of, makes me sad. I wish she would call me mom, but she doesn't. So I said to her, well, I'm a mom, whether you acknowledge that or not. I am still a mom. And to all those who are going through a similar situation, I see you. You are valid. If you are trans female and have kids, you're a mom. You're no less a mom than anyone else. Okay, so insist upon your identity. If you are a mom, you are valid. That is who you are.
With your 8-year-old, you're going to treat your 8-year-old the way that you treat other people on social media that don't agree with you. Your own child that's 8 years old. She's not calling you mom because your wife or whatever. And sure, she might have an influence. The main reason, sweetheart, is probably because she's 8 years old. She's a baby. They don't understand. And now you're trying to confuse your child. Instead of nurture it, you want to get upset with your child and make it about you. You're a parent, babe. The second you become a parent, it's not about you anymore. It is about that child. That is disgusting to try to... I don't have words. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. That's not a good parent.
It is, honestly. And the thing is that to try to take that away from your wife, like, she is the mom. You're not. What are you upset about?
That was the agreement when you first started, right?
Exactly.
That's mom.
I don't get the frustration from their end. I really don't.
I don't either. And it's crazy because I've seen so many trans people that are parents that, like Caitlyn Jenner, for example, not my favorite example of a trans person, but all those kids still call her dad because that's their dad. Dad doesn't have to be this. Sure, it's gendered in a sense, but it doesn't really have to be. It's just the role. It's a role that you show up to perform. And you're a dad. I'm sorry. You can be a trans woman. I'll call you she, her, all the respect to you. But you're that child's dad at the end of the day. Maybe they'll come around one day and they'll do, but they don't have to. To put that on your child as if it's an expectation for them. Your child should just be able to call you what they call you. As long as it's not, disrespectful and they're, being all crazy and stuff, you got to keep in line. I understand that too, but this is different than that. This is completely different. You made a choice to physically transition. I'm not saying you made a choice to be trans. That's not a choice. But you had a family, you started a family, you did all these things, you had a child, you made that choice, and then you made the choice to transition after that happened. You have the right to do it, but you also have to understand that there's still other things that come along with that because of the other choices you made pre-transition. It doesn't go away just because you're trans now. That's ridiculous. Be nice
Absolutely.
to your child.
And like you said, this is an early agreement. If you're gonna have I almost went down a rabbit hole myself. For me, it was like me trying to fit society's like what I thought I was supposed to be, right? Because I got in a relationship with a woman for 1.5 years. Mm-hmm. I only did that literally only because I thought like, oh well, everyone thinks I should do this. Well, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. I got tied into that for 1.5 years, and I'm so glad that I got out of it. And I'm understanding that I made a mistake. I hurt her in the process. She had kids, right? they got attached to me. We were together for a year and a half.
Sure.
I felt bad because when I left, I remember she was texting me and she was like, you know, the kids are so like distraught. They're like, well, you know, where is, you know, I'm not going to say my dead name on here, but they were like asking like where I was and all of this. And people don't realize how much of an effect that has on kids, especially, you know, when they see somebody for a year and a half plus, right? It's very problematic. And for me, I understand I made a huge mistake and I shouldn't have, you know, fit whatever I thought society wanted me or said that I had to do. So I speak out about this stuff because I don't want people to make a mistake that I made. I could have what very well got engaged, you know, I was already engaged, but I could have got married and I could have did all these things, right? And then decided to transition after all that. No.
I think
I'm
my
glad
biggest
I got out
issue
when I
with
did.
this is it's very selfish. It's incredibly selfish, and I think that's becoming a huge trend that I'm seeing in the transition, especially like people who have only transitioned in the last year or two, with all of the influence they have. Because when you're early on, you're going to the internet for resources because this is new to you. You don't know all the ins and outs, so you're going out to TikTok mostly nowadays to get your education, which is terrible. It's not a good source for education, especially on trans topics. But you're making this all about you. And you're just not in a position, like, I don't have kids. I don't have anybody that I have to be responsible for but myself. So I can make whatever choice I want to, and it doesn't matter because it affects me alone. But because you've become a parent, you made that choice to become a parent, you have a different set of expectations. Don't be selfish when it comes to your children. Give them time to understand it. They're kids, but they definitely pay attention a lot more than you think they do. And this also affects them. It's not just about you. So if you care about your kid, be patient with them and don't force this shit on them. Let them call you what they call you. They still love you. They're your child, but don't go in there and confusing them, especially at the age of 8. That's insane.
Right. And I definitely urge people like, hey, don't feel like you need to fit society's picture of what a typical, you know, like biological, you know, man would do. You know what I mean? Because that's what I did, and I realized I made a mistake. So don't be like me and make that mistake. That's kind of really my big point. And if you do get in with somebody, don't be upset. Like you should not be upset in this scenario. You just should not. You're not the mom. Quit trying to take her role away.
Exactly.
So that's that one. And then this one, just for some small background, this person is in Texas, and they were upset because they felt that they couldn't visit their mom on Mother's Day because of the area that her mom resides in versus where I don't know if they're non-binary, trans women, I don't know, right? But regardless, they felt they didn't feel safe because the mom lived in like a red area of Texas. I imagine they're probably in Austin or something because they're pretty comfortable where they're at, right? So this is basically a video of them just talking about that.
So I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here because you know what sucks? It was recently Mother's Day. And my mother is one of the sweetest, kindest, and most supportive and accepting people I've ever met and I've ever known. And I love her greatly. As I've become an adult, she and I have become closer than ever because of some shared experiences in life. But I live in Texas. Now, I live in a very liberal and accepting part of Texas. And I am very lucky to do so. Where I grew up, where my mom lives, is nothing like that. So, guess who did not get to go home and visit their mother for Mother's Day? Me. I had to settle for calling her. Now, we talked for a good hour, but we caught up. But this sucks. That I don't feel safe going back to visit my mom. No matter how much I feel like I pass or do not pass, it doesn't matter. There's a fear there now. And that's not cool.
I'm just astonished, honestly, to make a choice to make your own independent choice as an adult, and then go to TikTok to make people feel bad about it as if it was something you had no choice in. Professional victim, 100%. This is the craziest. I literally am from Texas. I'm moving back to Texas as a trans person to a very conservative little town in Texas. I have gone back home at least 3-4 times a year for the last 3 years that I've lived in Colorado. I have never had an issue, and I've gone back with blue hair and a septum ring, and I got tattoos all over the place, and a lot of the times I'm wearing, jerseys from raves and stuff. Like, I look like a wook, and nobody messes with me, and I'm in a pretty conservative little town. I mean, this town has a truck that drives around with a trailer in it with a little train car on the back that says Trump train. It is as conservative as it gets. This is insane. You're allowing the people that are fear-mongering to get to you. You're believing everything that you see on the internet. You can go wherever you want to, sweetheart. Nobody's going to care unless you start a problem and you can't keep your mouth shut and you do something. But nobody's just going to come pick you out because you look a little different. That's insane. You made a choice to not go see your mom. Nobody should feel bad for you about that. You made a choice. You live in Texas, friend. You live in Texas. How can you say, like, you're just making stuff up in your head and you're allowing yourself to live in fear? And that's sad. You're going to lose so many opportunities, like seeing your wonderful, supportive mother on Mother's Day. Who cares about everybody else? Go there for your mom. You're beelining straight to mom, so why does it matter? Like, this is just, it's professional victim shit, 100%.
Yeah, no, it is. And yeah, we're both, I've lived in Texas all my life.
Mm-hmm.
We can go anywhere. I would go anywhere. Like, seeing this is crazy to me. Because it's like, why are we putting out an image to the world that, like, I know a lot of people outside of Texas are probably like, oh, Texas has got to be the worst place to transition. I've not had one issue. I go out and I go anywhere. I don't think about anything. I live my life. And to think, like, this person goes and makes a video and talks about, oh, I can't go to this area. I live in a very small town, Bible built.
Yep.
And I live my life. Nobody says anything.
Absolutely. It's crazy. And I mean, like, even when I was early transition in my little conservative Texas town, I went to a gas station one time and I was pretty early on, didn't pass that well. And the guy that, was behind the counter had misgendered me. I said, oh, it's actually he. And I sounded like a chick. I straight up sounded like a chick. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. That's in Texas. It depends on how you handle it. A lot of what this tells me, too, is that you probably don't handle situations well, and they don't go the way that you want them to, and so now it's everybody else's fault, and you think you have to live in fear because of it. If you just go in and you're respectful, you're probably going to get respect back. It's not this deep. It's not this deep at all.
Yeah, it really isn't, and it's just, I don't know, as somebody who lives in Texas as well, this is just a crazy narrative to spit, is that you couldn't go visit your mom. What? I mean, to me, what this is given is you didn't want to. So you settled for a phone call.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, but it can't be my fault. I can't take responsibility for me not wanting to do something. Babe, if you don't want to do something, just say you don't want to do it. You have that autonomy. It's your life, babe. Do what you want to. You don't have to go out there and perpetuate this idea that Texas is this big, scary state for trans people. I know a lot of trans people in Texas. None of them have issues. There's transgender surgery centers in Texas. Multiples. So don't give me that. That's bullshit. Texas is not this big, scary state by any means.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, I have my surgery in like four months, and it's in Frisco, Texas.
Yep.
Frisco, Texas. I mean, like, yeah, it's DFW, whatever. It's like semi, I don't know, progressive in a way because it's a bigger city, right? Bigger area. You expect you're going to run into people who might be trans or whatever, right? Yep. But still, like, it's in Texas.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's crazy. And Texas is, like you said, not this big, scary place that everyone thinks it is.
I miss Texas so much. Like, we're moving at the end of January, and it can't come soon enough.
That's exciting.
Think the biggest thing that I've seen that's a difference that I don't think people realize, and I didn't even realize till I moved out here, but for example, I'll be walking through a grocery store, and somebody's coming out the aisle, and I'm coming this way, and so, like, we kind of meet. Here, they're going to look at me like I killed their firstborn child. It happens every time, and they're so rude and snarky and just, like, They just don't care about you. People run into you in the grocery store. I literally hate going grocery shopping. I was just back in Texas a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, for my nephew's birthday, and we're, you know, shopping for his little birthday gift and stuff. And this guy comes by the aisle. It's not even his fault. We were coming out and almost hit him. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." It's like, dude, I miss this. Texas is nice. People are so much nicer. That Southern hospitality, baby, that's a thing. That is truly a thing, and I miss it so much. So don't be afraid of Texas. Don't demonize Texas. Texas ain't, it's not what you think it is. It's not this big, scary conservative state where the second you cross that line, they're gonna take you out for being trans. That's insane. That's crazy. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, and I see that all the time too. Yeah, that happens all the time. Like, you actually make the mistake, and somebody else apologizes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Time.
Like,
every time, it is insane. Texas people are so sweet. I miss them.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're moving back and getting to experience Texas again. And yeah, I love Texas. I would never move. Like, yeah. I will say that I would like to move, maybe out of the little town I'm in.
Sure.
But Texas as a whole, I have no I have no intent to ever move out of Texas.
No, Texas is great.
Let's see, what's the next one? This one has definitely been going around. I know Blair reacted to this, and it was quite funny, her reaction. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this one.
Cool.
And this just kind of dives into, again, these damn terms are insane.
I can't keep up.
Hi, my name's Queenie, and my pronouns are they, them. When I post about my gender identity and my sexuality, when I say that I don't want any labels, that is not an invitation for you to speculate on who I am or what I am. It's not a guessing game for you to play over whether I'm a girl or a boy, about what's in my pants, or if I'm pan or bi or trixic or homoflexible or gray romantic or anything else. You don't need to fully understand the nuances of gender identity or sexuality to know that each person knows who they are better than you ever will. Hi, my name's Queenie, and my pronouns are...
I don't know what half of what this person just said means. What is any of that?
What is trixic? What is homoflexible?
Where are all these terms? What is that?
What is that? Like, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
It sounds like we're just doing variations of the same thing over and over just to add shit. Like, I don't even know what the purpose is at this point. But even then, it's like, you don't have to try to speculate on who I am. I mean, that's just a human thing. Humans can't help that. We're constantly trying to. It's just your brain. It's constantly trying to identify everything around you. It doesn't matter what it is, this candle that's sitting beside me or my speaker or whatever it is, like, it's trying to identify what's in front of it. We can't help that. Nobody can help that. That's gonna happen. And for you to think that it's like this terrible thing that a person's doing, it's human nature. They can't help it. Like, they're fighting nature left and right. Like, they just don't want to live in this reality. It's so apparent to me that they do not want to live within reality. And what does that come from? I think that's where my biggest concern for these people comes from, is like, why don't you want to be in reality? Like, there has to be something going on here that's disconnecting you from the real world. You need to figure that out first before you go on here and you start trying to educate on whatever all of these terms are nowadays. I heard gender season the other day, that like that your gender is affiliated with the seasons or something along those lines. I don't even understand it, but like, it's like, this is getting so out of hand. This is so out of hand. I'm trans and I don't even know what any of this means. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And the funny thing is, not for you to speculate on. We don't need to speculate. Your eyes, rainbow.
That's a woman.
Your earrings, rainbow. Everything, rainbow. Oh, nobody has to guess. They know you're in the community because you're showing the world, hey, look, this is who I am. Look at me. Look at me. Yep. No, like, this is a joke.
Absolutely.
For me at this point, I can't help to laugh. Yep. Because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I actually remember, I do think that I saw this on Blair's channel, and I know I saw this on Blair's channel, and I was sitting with my wife watching this, and she was like, man, those earrings are so cute. It's such a shame that I could never wear them. Because she doesn't want to be associated with that shit. It's like, y'all even stolen the rainbow. Like, nobody even wants to rep the rainbow anymore. Like, it's insane. And it's because of shit like this. Like, what are you talking about? Don't speculate. You've got eye makeup on. Look at those wings, babe. You got it popping. You got the rainbow eyebrows. That's a pretty womanly thing to do. No, it's not a question that you're a biological female. Now, identify as whatever you want. You want to be called they, them? Cool. I'll call you they, them. That's fine. But you're not even giving room for speculation. So what are you talking about speculate? Nobody's speculating. Everyone's going to assume you're a woman. At
For
your
sure.
own hand.
Yeah, exactly. At your own hand. You're doing it to yourself. If you don't want people to speculate, don't do things that are going to make people speculate, you know?
Yep. Have you ever seen that meme of like, it's like the dude riding on a bike and he like sticks the stick in the spokes and it like says that it's like somebody else's fault, like somebody else stuck the spoke in there or something.
Yeah. No, I've seen that.
What this reminds me of, 100%. It's like, oh, it's got to be somebody else's fault, even though I stuck the stick in the spoke. What are you doing? Come on.
It's insane. These people, I swear.
I lose brain cells every time I watch these things, I swear.
Exactly. No, I mean, at this point, I can't help to laugh and smile at it because it's like crazy. It's literally a fucking joke.
It's almost like uncomprehendable.
For sure. And yeah, like I said, we have to speak out about it and show people how ridiculous this shit is. You shouldn't even have to explain how ridiculous it is. People should just be able to watch and be like, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense ain't so common, though, so here we are.
Very, very, very true. So before I get to this next one, because I think I'm going to circle back for that one, I'm going to pull up a video here. And before we go down this whole Lily Tino thing, so as we know, Pride Month is literally around the corner, right? And so I'm not a fan of this person, not a fan of really any of these people that we're reacting to today. But Jeffrey Marsh, the same person that keeps telling people about, cut contact with your parents and all this stuff, which we spoke out about. And we showed people that, like, there's no reason to do that. We had a whole podcast we had our moms on the podcast and hopefully made people realize that you can net your parents' support. Just be patient.
Yep. And
maybe that's not the case for everybody, right? But you still should allow patience and, give that grace like you talked about. But with Pride Month right around the corner, I'm sure a lot of people know last year Target did a whole deal of Pride stuff. They even had baby Pride merch, which is crazy. And ultimately, Target decided that because of financials and all this stuff, that it just wasn't a good business decision for them to put it out in every store. So select stores basically had to sign off on it, whether they wanted it in their store or not. And the rest of it is all available online.
Right.
Not to say that you can't go get it. It's just online.
Right.
Not that big a deal, right?
Sure. Well, yeah, not at all.
Look, this is Jeffrey Marsh speaking out about how it's such
this
big
deal. Let's talk about Target. It's a really unfortunate decision they made to take the Pride merch out of certain stores, out of red state stores. They keep saying, oh, it's based on sales, but we know which stores will not have Pride merchandise. And trust me, I know a little something about dealing with the right wing in America and dealing with being swept up into drama and targeting and all of that stuff. I don't know about that on a corporate scale, but I know about it as an influencer. All I will say is giving in to the demands of a very, very far right small minority is in itself a political statement, and it is the wrong political statement. Okay, change of venue. I got to add something. Target could have used their corporate power to end the bullying, to try to end the bullying. So this may be something psychological, and you can talk about me in the comments, debate around it. I get most upset when far-right influencers target non-activists. Just a librarian, a teacher, a pastor just gets this dump truck of hatred and threats of violence and all that sort of stuff, and they're just trying to be a good person. It angers me, to be honest. Target could have stepped into that dynamic and used their money, influence, brand ubiquity, their corporate might to say, you know what? We're going to carry this Pride merch in every store. We know that LGBTQ people live all over the country, and we stand with them.
I already just do not vibe with Mr. Jeffrey here. But the statement I think that stood out to me the most in this was the, listening to the demands of a small group on the far right. That's the wrong decision. Okay, what makes listening to the demands of a small group on the far left the right decision? Where's your backing for that? What are you talking about? How come it's only that group that's bad and you cannot be bad? Like, this is just absolutely insane. And it's so like crybaby wham wham. Like, who cares? There are people in other countries losing their lives by the thousands. And you're worried about Target not selling Pride merch. Who gives a shit, Jeff? Who cares? Go online and order it if you want it, sweetheart. Etsy's got Pride merch. You can get it wherever you want. You don't have to go to... Why does Target have to be the pinnacle of trans acceptance, trans visibility? That's so weird. Part. That's so weird. And ultimately, it is a corporation. Their main goal in opening a business is not to support LGBT people. Any business's main goal is to make money. And in those states, yes, it probably is in red states, but in those states, they probably lost a lot of money. They have a lot of employees that have jobs, that their livelihood comes from this place. They have to think about that first before they think about the LGBT community. This is such a prime example of how everything is about the LGBT and they don't care about anybody outside of it. It's not a human thing. You don't care about other humans. Y'all are narcissists. This is just about you. You're not thinking about anybody else. Be better. This is gross. Like, listen to yourself when you talk. You're not standing up for the right thing here at all. It's crybaby wah wah. Move on. I don't care. It's
for sure. And the thing is that they say like, oh, it's about sales. Hell yeah, it's about sales. It's a business. What do you expect? Like, I honestly don't understand like where this person is coming from. Like, and plus it's all online. Like you said, if you want it that bad, go get it. You there's other sources too. Like you said, Etsy, other places. Like, it's not that big a deal. Why do we have to put this focus on Target?
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they even have merch shows that they support. The fact that they're willing to put it on their website to make sure that anybody can get it shows that they support you. So support them back and making sure that they can keep their employees employed and keep the business open so that they can continue to support you where they can financially, where it's appropriate for them to do that, so that they're not losing and you're not losing. Like, why can't things be symbiotic? Like, at this point, everything on this side of things is so parasitic and it's disgusting. It's take. How can I take from you? How can I take from you? I don't care what I got to get. I'm not giving anything back to you, but benefit me. It's gross. And it all comes back to the professional victim thing. You want people to feel bad for gay people, lesbian people, bi, trans, whatever you are. You want them to feel bad because Target's not carrying Pride merch in certain stores. That's part of the trans genocide? Like, I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. It's just reaching for whatever they can at this point, just to remain in that victim role so that they don't have to take accountability for anything.
To be honest with you, I think that's exactly what they're talking about with the trans genocide, but it's really not that. It's just people being smart.
Exactly.
We're taking something that's smart, makes sense, and then we're calling it part of a genocide. Crazy.
Insane.
So that's that. I mean, absolutely crazy. So now we're going to go down this little rabbit hole of Lily Tino.
Here we go.
I'm gonna start with the one video that did it all, right? This one right here about misgendering.
Looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her. Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir. Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Okay. The Sweetwater starts at okay. I'm so sorry. I apologize. It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time it happens. I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir, you know? Thank you. Did you call me sir? I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir. What? Called me sir. Oh. Yeah. It's just like, it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Very good. Thank you so much. No, yeah. Thank you. I'm not a sir. Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut when I get called sir. I feel like I need to tell him. I need to tell him that hurt. It hurts more though, and it's not intentional because it means like this is sir to him. I know you didn't mean it, but I'm not a sir.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I know you didn't mean it. It's just, it hurts. I know when people clock me, it's fine, but like it does kind of hurt. Thank you. I'm not sir.
Oh, sorry.
Not sir. Not sir. But the guy who dropped the food off, he called me sir twice in a row.
Okay. I'll let him know that, and
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. Where do you even start with this one? One, I think that first time that someone was like, oh, that shit got me, okay? They're like, you called me sir. Oh. Okay. Like, they just don't give a shit, and it's so funny because what's funny is like they say it and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, I know you didn't mean it, but God, it's just a knife in the heart. And then the fact that is the thing they say every single time, that's rehearsed. You're prepared for that. You're waiting for that. And then to say like, well, they called me sir, you sound like a dude. And that's not even me trying to be rude, honey. Like you are not trying. It is so obvious that you're not even trying to really present as female. You can put your hair up in pigtails and wear a girl clothes. And you even said in the video, you know that people clock you. You know this is going to happen. So you're already admitting to the fact that you were setting this up on purpose. You are very slyly admitting to that you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. And then that part where she's like, I need to go tell him. Did you not just assume their gender? How do you know? How do you know that that's a him? Because of the characteristics that you observed, kind of like the same thing they just did to you, right? Come on. Professional victim. It's the oppression Olympics at this point. And they're all just competing as hard as they freaking can. And Lily Tino is just top of the board there. Really, really taking the gold on that one. Wow.
For sure. And yeah, that's the thing. Literally all of this is rehearsed. And I don't think she realized that she is doing it to herself, because the moment that she said, I don't remember if it was in this one or it's a different one, where she was like, I do call the restaurant in advance to let them know my pronouns are she, her.
Yep.
You're literally setting it up.
Yep.
Like, why would you do that? When I go to a restaurant, I don't call, if I go to Chili's or something, right? I don't call Chili's and be like, hey, just to let you know, I'm going to be there in like 10, 15 minutes. My pronouns are she, her.
Well, it proves that obviously she thinks everything's about her. She clearly thinks that everything is about her. That's like, I'm the main character. That's what that's giving. It's ridiculous.
It is. Yep. It's definitely giving main character for sure. And it's just so insane because like, it's not, I get it, right? As a trans person, does it affect you in some way when someone misgenders you?
Sure.
Yeah, right? Because you feel like you're trying, like right now, right? I feel like I've shaved my face, I've done my makeup, I got my hair right. I feel like I'm presenting the best that I can feminine wise. And then my voice, this is not my neutral voice. I'm putting work in to assimilate and be perceived hopefully as a woman. And if someone says, sir, am I going to be like slightly offended? Maybe, but I'm not going to cause a big deal about it.
Correct.
I'm going to think, damn, okay, what did I not do today that I typically do? You know, I'm going to look in, what did I do? Like to give that energy, you know, I'm going to look within, because that's really where it stems from.
I don't want that to happen again. So I'm going to try. So I'm going to put in the effort to appear as this thing so that I am clocked as a male, so that you are clocked as a female. We put in the effort for that. That is not happening here, and it is clear why. It is very clear why they're not doing this. Like, they just want the attention so damn bad. And I think that it's really important that you had made the statement of, you know, yes, being misgendered can be offensive and it can be uncomfortable. Absolutely. We all feel that. So it's not that we don't understand that doesn't feel good for Lily. I understand that. But once that person said, oh, I'm sorry, I'd be like, no, you're good. and then just move on. I don't have to be like, oh, it's just this knife to the heart, and it just really hurts. And I know, sorry, and I know you didn't mean it, but here we are. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Let me get this.
Yeah, no, it's insane for sure. It's just, yeah, I hate seeing videos where people make like such this big fuss about it, and it's really not that. Like, I think it has to, like, for me, I look within myself or within like my appearance, where did I mess up? Because that's where it stems from. I'm not putting in an effort somewhere, and maybe, right, some people are just be like, oh well, look at that chin, look at that nose, look at this, look at that, right? It is what it is, right? But for me, I'm still good for me because I want to put in the most amount of effort I can. I'm going to figure out, where did I go wrong? That's what people should be doing within the trans community. How? Because there's people who've been on hormones 2-3 years and they're still transitioning. It's a process. It isn't like this 1 year, 2 year thing. Sometimes, like it can be much more than that. Finances play a role, so you have to slowly you might not realize something in the early part of your transition and then realize 5 or 6 years later, wow, if I'd just did this one little thing, I might have been gendered more correctly, know? And it's a learning process. Why are we getting so upset?
Exactly. Like this, I don't know. Lily's something else.
For sure. And so I'm not going to watch the whole thing. But we are going to watch the Disney thing really quick because I think it's very important to watch her follow-up video, not apologizing for it.
Yep.
Actually, if anything, doubling down on not apologizing. So we're gonna watch a portion of this one and then react.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth on my marshmallow wand. That's bad because the outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of the tunnel. So you don't want hair growing there, or else it's very uncomfortable.
Before we go too far, I hope that somebody listening heard that little baby cry in the background. There's kids clearly present while she's talking about this. I don't know if anyone heard that. That's why I paused, because I heard like a little baby cry or like a baby noise in the background. This is insane that she's talking about this in this environment and using these terms, because good and well that she wouldn't feel the need to talk about this with these terms to adults, because you don't need terms like this with adults. We're adults. You can talk about things as they are. Like, I get it. Like, if you're talking about it on your TikTok or whatever, maybe you want to use different verbiage, right? But you don't got to result to fucking cake pops and marshmallow wands and this type of shit. Like, it's just, it's
like
fucking
making
insane.
It cutesy. It's like, it's a weird thing to make cutesy. And like, for me, the biggest part is just starting the video with, we're going to get banned from Disney. And like, you can tell that's a cut clip that they put as the intro. Like, that's, what you're doing and you're being so blatant about it. I don't know if it's like you get off on knowing that you're getting away from. I just looked at where it's paused and it's very creepy. I don't know. It's so insane to me. Do this, like, I'm all for educating on surgeries, right? People want to know. People are curious. It's crazy, honestly. Like, when I first started learning about these surgeries, I was like, holy shit! Like, I cannot believe that's how this goes down. So it's cool for people to be educated. But one, if people want to be educated, they can go find that somewhere else. There are channels specifically for that. 2, do it in your living room, your kitchen, somewhere private where it's just you and there are not children running around. I understand you're making it cutesy and you're doing marshmallow pops and marshmallow wand, but then you're sitting there talking about hair being on the marshmallow wand. Let's say a child hears that and they're like, what? And then they go to ask their mom, and now their mom's having to like scramble to try to like save their kid from knowing this shit. Like, and I'm not saying that happened, but you are fostering the possibility of that happening by doing this in this venue. You're doing something wrong. So stop it. It's gross and it's weird and it's very like, oh, I just need people to pay attention to me. I love the attention. Give it to me in any way I can get it. I'm going to be as controversial as I possibly can. That's ridiculous. Leave kids out of it. It's insane. Ugh.
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. And yeah, that's why I paused it. Because you could hear like that little baby cry or something in the background. Yep. There is kids.
You can hear kids running around and laughing and giggling like the whole time.
It's insane. And yeah, but I'm sure most people have seen this video, so I'm going to skip past this again. And people were expecting an apology, right? Because it was wrong.
Yeah.
So she should apologize for it, but she doesn't. And this is what happens.
Well. Lily Tino does not apologize for the video at Disney. In fact, went so far as to say that they're sorry that they didn't film more videos at Disney. Just watch.
In fact, let me just start off with an apology, okay? I am sorry that I didn't film more videos in Disney to this effect.
But you know what? Filming those videos at Disney was totally fine. You're so right. There was not a single person listening. There was no better location to film those videos and go live than right in the middle of Disneyland. And using cake pops and marshmallow wands was just the perfect tools for you to make a video. I'm so glad there's no editory behavior going on here.
One, I love this TikTok creator over this shit is one of my good friends. I love her very much. She is amazing. So I was really, really happy to see her face pop up. Yeah, what the hell? Like, and the thing with what they said about it is that I'm sorry I didn't make more content. I guarantee you the reason why you're sorry you didn't make more content is because that one blew up so heavy and got you so much recognition. So you wish you would have done more because you knew what you were doing already. And this proves it. It is absolutely disgusting. Narcissistic behavior all the way through. You don't think about anybody else. You only think about yourself. How many views can I get? How many people can I get on this? What other trips can I get funded from my TikTok followers?
Yeah, for sure. And it's the doubling down that really frustrates me. Like, you're not even going to apologize. You're going to double down.
They're incapable of taking accountability. That's the whole thing. You know, I had done my live yesterday about the whole Lily Tino thing, and I had one of their old mods message me and let me know that a bunch of those mods that were moderating for their lives were trying to tell her, like, this is problematic. What you're doing is not right. And what did she do? She said, bye, y'all can all go. And then these moderators get doxxed and she makes fun of that and she thinks it's funny. That's the type of person that we're dealing with here. This is not all love to every human being. I hope you get the help you need, Lily, but right now you're not being a good person, babe. Not at all. And this is you doubling down on this when you introed the first video knowing that it was wrong. And then the whole thing, it's just absolutely insane to me. This is not a grown-up. This is not grown-up behavior. Something stunted this person. And I feel for you for that, but you're still the adult. You got to take accountability. You got to be better. Nobody can do that for you.
For sure. Absolutely. I'm going to show a video that really upset me because I'm somebody that is planning to go have this surgery in October. And so with having that surgery, you do have to make a lot of preparations. There's a lot of things that you have to get for like your aftercare and things like that. Well, this person is unboxing all this stuff that they were gifted by their followers, and they're like playing around with it and joking and doing this stuff. That frustrates me. Because as a person who will need these things, it's not a joke. It's not something to play around with. And it really honestly frustrates me.
Did you hear that? Welcome to my bed, which is currently covered in boxes. Next month, I will be getting bottom surgery. These boxes are full of things that my lovely followers have purchased to help me recover. A compact toilet rail, diapers, instant ice maxi pads, puppy pee pads, compression socks. I have no idea how a Perry bottle works, designed with moms in mind. Well, some people call me mommy, so I don't know what I was expecting. It looks like I should fill it with water. It's for cleaning. Got it. It's a bidet for your... Got it. Ooh, it's kind of like a fan, too. Okay, here's another one. It's a cleanser. Did you hear that? Kind of sounds like a Nine Inch Nails song. I wanna clean you like an animal. I'm getting an idea of what this is supposed to do. Disinfect the nozzle with boiled water. Do not share. Don't worry, I wasn't gonna. I would imagine there's stuff you're supposed to fill it with. This is just the delivery mechanism or a musical instrument.
You're muted if you're talking, by the way.
There we go. It's giving man that is holding a tampon for the first time. It's been handed a tampon for the first time, and they're like, it's funny, and they're playing with it, and it's like, it's not giving somebody that's like serious about what they're doing. It's not like the most harmful thing in comparison to other things that this person is doing at this point, but it's just it's giving male. It's giving male, and maybe I'm an asshole for saying that. That's fine. I'll wear that crown. I really don't care. But like it's giving a dude playing with feminine products. That's the only energy I'm getting from this. It's so unserious. It's not, and like especially when all your other videos you're like educational or whatever, and like none of this is educational. You're just playing with shit, singing songs. Like it's just weird. It's just a really weird vibe, and I think a lot of it too. This probably wouldn't be as frustrating if we didn't know everything else that we know about this person. If we didn't know already how unserious they are about things, even their transition at this point, not even putting in the effort for that. So it's like, you don't take anything seriously except being misgendered.
For sure. And I love how you say unserious, because that's exactly what I titled this video when I downloaded it, is unserious video.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to me. And honestly, I'm gonna go right with you on that verbiage there, that it's given man. It is. Like for me, right, who is gonna have this surgery in a few months, when I get this sort of stuff in, I'm not gonna be playing around with it and whatever. No. I'm going to unbox it, put it to the side. When I need it, I'm going to use it. And it's going to be this very private thing.
Yep.
And that's that. It's crazy to make this whole big, or like this. Why did you feel the need to make a video about this? Like,
because they know it's going to get views. They know it's going to get views. They know it's going to, the viral thing that we're all chasing, right? And then the one thing I definitely want to make sure that I hit on is like, yes, we are saying that it's giving male because, honey, it's giving male. But also the whole time we've referred to Lily as she, her. So anybody who might have an issue and say that we're being transphobic or bigots, like, it's not that. It's just, that's the energy it's giving. I mean, sometimes the energy I give is very female, depending on where I'm at. If I'm dancing at the club, I might be serving female. Who knows? I'll be getting crazy in the club. You know what I mean? So it's not this like big, terrible, bad thing, but that's the energy that's giving. 100%. It's giving male.
Yeah, I can't disagree. And that's why I'll state the same thing as well, because this frustrates me. And I'm sure like other like trans women, and not even just trans women, like women who have needed this, because like to my understanding, like this Freedom Mom company is mainly for women who are like post pregnancy, like delivering babies and stuff.
Yep.
So that's what all of this is for. And I guarantee you mothers out there are livid when they watch a video like this, and it's just insane to me. And yeah, like for other trans women as well who are having this surgery, this is a joke. This literally is a joke to people like us who are having surgeries, and to have this person just make fun of it. It honestly is frustrating.
It's insane.
It really is. And honestly, these other ones, I don't even really feel the need to really watch them at this point.
I think we understand at this point what's going on.
For sure. Absolutely. But yeah, and I think just for the, for like the listeners, the watchers, etc., depending on how you're consuming this content, I don't know if you want to or not, but I think it's important because I think this person deserves it. Do you want to speak a little bit about like some of the stuff that you've like found out about this person through like Reddit and things like that?
Let's get into it. So just because of like the wording and stuff and things, it's probably best that we don't put stuff up on screen. If you ever want to see stuff on screen, I host lives on TikTok every once in a while, and I will be more than happy to share them there. But essentially, I started hosting a TikTok live yesterday, calling out this exact same stuff, just saying that, this is a problem, rework the way that you're being misgendered. It's all love to you, but like there's issues going on. Let's hold accountability. And I had a person reach out to me and share this information from Reddit that I had no idea existed. And it really added a lot of levels to this. And I think that's why it's important to share this, so that people know, and that like us talking about this isn't coming from a place of hate. It's coming from like a genuine place of concern because of who this person is, who they've been in their past, and who they're proving that they still are holding on to. So let me pull this up real quick. I don't know. I'll probably still need to censor my language. So I'll be careful about how I say this. It's gross. Just be ready. So this post comes from Lily several years ago at this point, but the context just cannot be forgiven. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me, can't be forgiven. So the post says, when I was 3, I'm a guy, my other 3-year-old friend, girl, and I would play doctor. I put my fingers up her, and licked it too. Guess I started from an early age. What? One, the first thing when I read this immediately was like, how were you 3 years old and you're recalling this situation like that? I have no doubt in my mind that the little girl was probably 3. I am seriously doubting that Lily was 3. For you to remember that and to be able to post that, and even if that's the case, who's to say you didn't make it up? But even if you made it up, that's gross. That is a gross thought to have and then to share on a public forum. And then I had some pushback. A lot of people were like, well, how do you know that that's Lily? How do you know that that's Lily? Well, Lily actually made a post on the same Reddit page, the Reddit page being Fuck Pomegranates, with an apology for the comments that they had made, with screenshots of those comments saying these were the comments I made. This is me apologizing for them. Truth be told, that first comment, there's not an apology for that. For you to share that, I don't care what the context is. I think that the page was like, what the hell was wrong with me when I was a kid? This is gross. Like, that's like next, like, you don't share that kind of thing. You hold on to that. And like, for the last part to say, I guess I started early, makes it sound like you're pretty proud of it. Like, you think it's funny. That's disgusting. I don't care who you are. That's gross. There is also a post of a girl in like Nutella blackface. It's a pretty old photo. I saw it several years ago. And they made a comment on it. It's like, it's just blackface. It's just a joke. Chill. Geez. It's okay. Like, you're defending blackface right now, homie. Like, and then they admit to that. They admit to that as well. The other thing that I thought was really interesting to read, and then the other thing too is that they've gone through and posted several pictures on this. Like, they have updated their entire transition on Reddit until they deleted the Reddit page because of the comments that were on there. But there's a sneaky little site where you can pull up all deleted comments if you have their Reddit name. Let me find the one where they're talking. It's like right when they're like questioning themselves. They made this post like, I'm a 27-year-old male questioning my identity, that kind of stuff. And the one thing that stood out to me in this very long paragraph of why they feel like they're a woman, said, sexually, I found myself watching trans porn in the past few years, admiring those bodies. I have always been attracted to feminine, not masculine. That is, and I don't say this lightly, I don't call people this very often, that's AGP behavior. 100. That is a statement that an AGP would make, 100%. Because that tells me that you did not transition because you felt like a woman. You transitioned because you're attracted to the feminine. For you to make that a point, and the fact that it was trans porn that it inspired this for you, that doesn't seem like it's coming from a very genuine place at all.
It's not at all. Like, I'll say it too. It does sound very much like AGP. That's, to my understanding, that's what the definition of the AGP is, where you're attracted to women, you're attracted to presenting as a woman, and that does something for you in a sexual manner. For me, not the case, right? I'm not attracted to women. No sexual attraction to women whatsoever.
Yep.
I've always felt like, growing up, from a very early age in preschool, I was telling everyone I was a girl. Like very, very early.
Yep.
No attractions, no nothing.
Yep.
For me, I can easily say I'm a genuine trans woman.
Yep.
No AGP, no nothing. But that is definitely, without a doubt, by definition, AGP.
Absolutely. Sorry, the little rascals are going to play in the background, apparently. I 100% agree. I think that, and it's kind of like, you and I had talked about it earlier, where I don't think that it's a terrible thing for you to be an AGP or to experience that, but it is a very different thing from being trans. Being trans requires gender dysphoria, and I know I'll get dragged for that, and I'm a trans medicalist. Proudly, I'll wear that label. I don't care. You need dysphoria to be trans. That's how we know we're trans. This is not a dysphoria thing. This is an attraction thing. It is very, very different. 100% different. So, all the best to Lily. I really, really hope that she gets the help that she needs, because clearly she needs it. I don't see her being helpful to the community in any way anytime soon. It's just me, all about me. How can I be the biggest narcissist? And it's just, I'm over it. I'm overseeing this type of representation for the trans community because it is not accurate whatsoever.
Exactly. It's really not. And I hope people that, seen these crazy videos and especially heard this section about Lily, can realize that these are the people that are representing trans people the most because they get the most views. People like myself and Braxton, we get pushed to the side views wise and all of that because we're sharing the truth. And these people can get millions and millions of views and things like that for not the right things. It's so wrong, and it's absolutely insane. And honestly, this is why I'm choosing not to celebrate Pride. It's just it's not in it's not in a good place right now to be celebrating. If we celebrate it, what you're doing, anybody who celebrates it is celebrating all of this that we just watched. I hope everyone can realize that that's what you're doing.
Yep. I could not agree more.
So yeah, in short, hopefully, for the viewers, and listeners, you can take that away from this. I would love Pride to be back to its roots, right? Without this sexualization, at these little parades and stuff like that. Like, it can be a different thing. We can be happy about who we are and share that in a positive manner. But these videos are not how we do that. It's not at all how we do that. We progress by showing reality of what it is and things in a good way. None of this is in a good way.
Nope.
It's just not.
No, that's terrible.
So I know this was definitely a lot different than the other podcasts, but it has to be done, has to be out there. And hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And Braxton, I really appreciate you coming back onto the podcast. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Of course.
I know we share a lot of the same views, and couldn't wish for a better guest on the podcast. So really appreciate it. I would love to say what the next podcast is going to be, but honestly, I have to kind of do some thinking for this next one to figure out what angle I want to go on next. But really appreciate everyone listening, and everyone have a great rest of your day, and to see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.